Taurus, the warning has arrived. At this very moment as you watch this video, a specific woman in your life is executing a calculated test against your faith and your patience. It's not paranoia, it's not coincidence, it's a deliberate strategy she's been using to measure how far she can push your limits without you reacting. And most disturbing of all, she's winning. She's figured out exactly which buttons to push to keep you in a constant state of near explosion, but never quite getting to the point of confronting her directly. This woman has probably already planted the next seed of frustration that will germinate in the coming hours. It could have been a seemingly innocent comment that she knows will bother you for the rest of the day. A promise she made with no intention of keeping. Behavior that she knows will test your ability to remain calm. She's playing with your Taurian nature as if it were an instrument she's mastered. What you haven't realized yet is that every time you swallow your anger, every time you choose peace over confrontation, every time you give her the benefit of the doubt when she clearly doesn't deserve it, you're fueling her power over you. She's not testing your patience by accident. She's testing to see how much she can control you without you realizing you're being controlled. And you've been passing her test, but failing your own. There's a woman in your life who has studied your reaction patterns with the precision of a scientist. She knows exactly how long it takes you to lose your temper with different types of provocation. She knows the exact tone of voice that makes you uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable enough for you to say something. She's mapped your emotional blind spots and uses them as tools to keep you exactly where she wants you. Frustrated, but silent. Annoyed, but cooperative. Questioning yourself, but not questioning her. Maybe it's someone at work who always finds a way to complicate simple projects, especially when you're involved. Maybe it's a family member who has a knack for making comments that sound like caring, but always leave you feeling inadequate. Maybe it's a romantic partner who's created a pattern of behaviors that keep you constantly trying to prove your worth. Or a friend who always shows up with dramas that demand your emotional energy, but is never available when you need support. This woman's specific identity may vary, but the pattern is always the same. She's identified that you, as a Taurus, possess a deep reserve of patience and a genuine faith in the goodness of others. And instead of respecting these qualities, she's decided to exploit them. She knows you'll put up with far more than you should, that you'll give more chances than anyone deserves, that you'll rationalize problematic behaviors because you want to believe the best in people. The test she administers isn't random. It's carefully calibrated to push you to the limit of your tolerance, but never beyond it. Because if she pushed you too far, you'd eventually react, set boundaries, or simply walk away. She doesn't want that. She wants you exactly where you are, constantly questioning yourself, but never questioning her, absorbing frustration, but never expressing it, bearing the emotional weight of the dynamic, but always trying to be the bigger person in the situation. Taurus, what should alarm you most about this situation is the sophistication of the test. This woman isn't just being difficult or problematic. She's running a complex psychological program specifically designed for your personality. She's observed that you value stability, so she creates small chaos that only you seem to notice. She's seen that you believe in people's ability to change, so she offers small gestures of improvement that keep your hope alive, but never result in real change. She's realized you pride yourself on your patience and uses this against you, making you feel like reacting would be a character flaw. She knows you hate unnecessary conflict, so she structures her provocations so that any confrontation seems disproportionate or dramatic. It's a perfect psychological trap. She can keep testing and pushing your limits because reacting would make you the bad guy in the situation. The most insidious part is that she's likely convinced others around you that you're too sensitive, that you react badly to her jokes, that you can't handle her strong personality. She's created a narrative where any attempt you make to set boundaries or confront her behavior is seen as you being problematic, not her. It's a masterclass in emotional manipulation. For Taurus is born between April 20th and April 30th. This woman likely operates primarily by destabilizing your financial or material security. For those born between May 1st and 10th, she focuses on questioning your competence and personal worth. For those born between May 11th and 20th, she primarily attacks your need for harmony in relationships, creating constant dramas that you feel compelled to resolve. Regardless of the specific tactic, the goal is always the same: to keep you in a state of emotional imbalance where you're constantly trying to regain the stability she deliberately destroys. She thrives on the power of being able to influence your emotional state so easily. Every time you feel compelled to explain your behavior because of her insinuations, she wins. Every time you change your plans to accommodate her whims, she wins. Every time you question your own perception because she tells you you're overreacting, she wins. The test of faith she administers is particularly cruel because it directly attacks one of your greatest strengths as a Taurus: your ability to believe in the potential of people and situations. She offers small glimpses of improvement, moments where she seems to finally understand how her behavior affects you, where she promises change, where she demonstrates the kind of person you always knew she could be. These moments renew your faith in her and the relationship. But these glimpses are strategic, not genuine. They appear just as you're reaching your limit of tolerance, when you're seriously considering cutting contact or confronting the situation directly. It's as if she has an internal radar to detect when she needs to throw a little hope into the mix to keep you engaged. These moments of improvement are the bait that keeps you hooked. Patience, which has always been one of your greatest virtues, has become a vulnerability in this woman's hands. She knows you have an almost infinite capacity to endure problematic behavior if you believe there's a chance for improvement. She knows you'd rather give it another chance than admit a situation is irreparable, and she exploits this mercilessly. Each test she administers is designed to see if you're still willing to take more, if you'll still give her the benefit of the doubt when she clearly doesn't deserve it, if you'll still prioritize keeping the peace over protecting your own sanity. And each time you pass her test, by being more patient, more understanding, more tolerant, she makes a note to push even harder next time. Taurus, what you need to understand is that there is no next time where she will finally appreciate your patience and stop testing you. There is no future moment where your faith in her will be rewarded with genuine change. The test isn't temporary, it's the relationship. She's not testing to see if you're compatible. She's testing to see how much manipulation you'll accept before waking up to what's happening. The wake-up call that has come to you isn't just about recognizing that you're being tested. It's about realizing that you've been playing a game where the rules are specifically written to ensure you always lose. A game where your kindness is punished with more demands, where your patience is rewarded with more provocations, where your faith is exploited to keep you trapped in dynamics that drain your vital energy. The most painful revelation isn't that this woman isn't who you thought she was. It's that you've allowed her to redefine who you are. Your natural patience has turned into passivity. Your genuine faith has turned into denial. Your strength of character has turned into an inability to set healthy boundaries. She hasn't just tested your qualities, she's corrupted them. You've probably felt this in moments of clarity, especially when you're alone and can process events without her direct influence. That feeling of living as a smaller version of yourself, of being constantly on the defensive, of always trying to prove you're not what she insinuates you are. These moments of awareness are your true self, trying to alert you to what's happening. But when you try to address these concerns with her, what happens? She likely makes you feel guilty for having these perceptions. She convinces you that you're being overly sensitive, paranoid, or misinterpreting her intentions. She has a preternatural ability to turn every confrontation into a situation where you end up apologizing for even raising the issue. That's how you know you're dealing with someone who's mastered the art of psychological testing. Her patience test works in predictable cycles. First, she does something she knows will anger you. Then she watches your reaction. If you don't react, she escalates to the next level of provocation. If you do, she makes you feel guilty for not being able to handle her, while secretly noting that she's found a limit she can exploit in the future. It's a no-win situation because she controls the rules of the game. The most devastating part of the test of faith is how she uses your own kindness against you. She knows your tendency to take responsibility for relationship problems. She knows you'll wonder what you can do differently to improve the dynamic. And she feeds this tendency, always subtly suggesting that if you were more understanding, more patient, more flexible, things would be better between you. This keeps you in an endless cycle of self-doubt and self-improvement that never results in any real improvement, because the problem was never you. The problem is that she found someone genuinely good and decided to see how much of that goodness she could extract for her own benefit. You've become an emotional resource she exploits, not a partner she respects. Taurus, in recent days, you've probably felt a growing tension that you can't fully explain. An irritation that's always just beneath the surface. An emotional fatigue that seems disproportionate to your circumstances. These aren't signs of weakness or a lack of patience on your part. They're signs that your spirit is trying to warn you that you're in an untenable situation. Your soul is rejecting the constant testing, even as your conscious mind continues to rationalize and tolerate it. Your body is manifesting the stress of being constantly on guard, even when you think you're relaxed. Your emotions are screaming that something is fundamentally wrong, even as you try to convince yourself that things aren't so bad. The warning came through these physical and emotional signals because your higher consciousness recognizes a threat that your conditioned personality is still trying to deny. Part of you knows you're being manipulated, exploited, and tested beyond what's healthy or fair, but another part of you still wants to believe you can find a way to make this relationship work if you're just patient enough, strong enough, and understanding enough. The brutal truth is that there's no such thing as enough when you're dealing with someone who sees your kindness as a weakness to be exploited. There's no level of patience that will finally satisfy her. There's no demonstration of faith that will make her stop testing you, because the problem isn't that you're not giving enough. The problem is that she's an emotional black hole that will never be satisfied, no matter how much you give. Recognizing this doesn't mean giving up on the person or the relationship. It's acknowledging the reality of the situation so you can make informed decisions about how to proceed. Maybe it means setting clear, non-negotiable boundaries. Maybe it means drastically reducing their access to your emotional energy. Or maybe it means accepting that some people aren't capable of relationships based on mutual respect and that you deserve better. The woman who has been testing your faith and patience will likely intensify her tests when she sees you waking up to the dynamic. She may try to make you feel guilty for changing or for not being the nice person you used to be. She may accelerate cycles of problematic behavior followed by improvement to keep you confused and engaged. She may even create dramatic situations where she appears to be the victim, hoping that your protective and caring instincts will keep her stuck in the old pattern. Don't fall into these traps. When someone reacts to your growing awareness by trying to manipulate you back into the old dynamic, it confirms that the manipulation was real all along. People who truly care about you will respect your boundaries and work to understand your concerns, not try to make you feel bad for having them. The transformation that awaits you on the other side of this recognition is profound. It's not just about ending a toxic dynamic, it's about reclaiming parts of yourself that you've lost in the process. Your patience can once again become a virtue rather than a vulnerability. Your faith can be directed toward people who deserve and honor that faith. Your strength can be used to build instead of just endure. You'll find that when you remove people who drain your energy through constant testing, you'll have much more energy left over to invest in relationships and situations that truly nourish your soul. You'll realize that your ability to tolerate problematic behavior when redirected becomes an incredible ability to persist through genuine challenges that lead to growth. Taurus, the warning has come at the perfect time. Not because the situation is about to explode or because something dramatic is about to happen, but because you've finally reached the point of emotional maturity where you can see the situation clearly and make decisions based on self-determination rather than conditioning. You're no longer the person this woman started testing. You've grown, evolved, and developed discernment. The version of you that allowed these constant tests did the best it could with the level of awareness it had at the time. Don't judge yourself for staying in the situation as long as you did. Honor the fact that your patience and faith, even when exploited, come from a genuine place of love and hope. These are rare and precious qualities that you shouldn't lose. You just need to learn to better protect them. The end of testing doesn't mean the end of your ability to be patient or have faith. It means you'll be selective about who you share these precious qualities with. It means you'll use them to build relationships based on reciprocity and mutual respect, not to sustain dynamics where you always give and never receive in return. When you look back on this experience, you'll realize that the woman who tested your faith and patience inadvertently taught you valuable lessons about boundaries, self-respect, and discernment. Not because she intended to teach you these lessons, but because your emotional survival depended on you learning them. She unintentionally became a catalyst for your personal growth and strengthening your sense of self-worth. The patience that survives this experience will be more mature, wiser, and more focused. The faith that remains will be more discerning, more protected, and more valued by yourself. And the strength you discover through the process of recognizing and stopping these trials will serve you in all areas of your life from now on. Share in the comments, carefully protecting your privacy. If you've experienced this feeling of being constantly tested by someone specific, your insights may help other Tauruses identify similar dynamics in their own lives. Subscribe to the channel, because recognizing that you're being tested is only the first step. You'll need specific strategies for setting boundaries with people who don't naturally respect boundaries. You'll need guidance on how to protect your emotional energy without losing your ability to genuinely connect with others. The wake-up call has arrived. The tests have been identified. The woman has been recognized for what she truly is. Not someone who deserves your infinite patience, but someone who chose to exploit your kindness rather than honor it. Now you have the power to consciously choose how to respond, based on self-respect and wisdom, not conditioning and naive hope. Your faith and patience are two precious gifts to be wasted on someone who fails to recognize your worth.